know what joy, oh, what joy brings when we all in the home for the rest.
Verse 25. Hebrews 11, verse 25. And I'll be in the message too. Hebrews 11, 25. Hebrews 11, 25, and we're in our series, Never Again. So it's our hope that talk to the media team, and they're in the process of bundling up these sermons and several of these sermons so that we'll have a package. So if somebody wants to have them as a collection or a series of lessons that you can use throughout the week to encourage you, to encourage other people, it'll be made available. But Hebrews 11, 25 and 26. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 24 or 23. That's better, 23. All right, by an act of faith, Moses' parents hid him away for 3 months after his birth. They saw the child's beauty and they braved the king's decree. By faith, Moses, when grown, refused the privileges of the Egyptian royal house. He chose a hard life with God's people rather than the opportunistic, soft lie of sin with the oppressors. He valued suffering in the Messiah's camp far greater than Egyptian wealth because he was looking ahead, anticipating the payoff. I'll talk to you from the title, Laugh Now, Cry Later. All right. Laugh now, cry later. You saw the video clip in the beginning, the marshmallow test. I think I might have shown it to some of you all a few years ago, if you remember. But I thought it'd be an appropriate illustration in a way to kind of open up our services today. The marshmallow experiment goes back to the 60s. And people have duplicated it several times. But basically it involves having children in a room, and they put a marshmallow on a table in front of them. And they tell them that if they can go 15 or sometimes 20 minutes without eating the marshmallow, upon the person coming back into the room, they will be given 2 marshmallows. And so all they have to do in order to get 2 marshmallows is to not eat the first marshmallow for about 15 or 20 minutes. And they do this with small children, of course. And the whole idea is to see where they are in terms of what we call delayed gratification. We have instant gratification, and we have delayed gratification. Instant gratification is basically, I want what I want, and I want it now. And I want to be instantly or quickly, I want to be gratified in the present. That's what the instant gratification is. Delayed gratification is that I'm anticipating something that's going to come better, right? So I delay the satisfaction, I hold off, I put it on pause until such time that I can enjoy a payoff in one that is greater than it would if I just settled for what was in the present. What they have done with this delayed gratification experiment, they actually followed these children to adulthood. And they have found out that the children who are able to keep themselves from eating the marshmallow and waiting for the second marshmallow have a better time in life making the same kinds of decisions when it comes to delaying gratification, meeting their goals, and succeeding. And so I thought I would talk today when we we talk about this series about never again, which we'll get the lesson in a few moments as we go through the text. But I want to spend some time there because I think that is this idea of delaying gratification, I think it's applicable to all of us. I think it's human nature, right? Am I on safe ground this morning? I think it's human nature to want what we want now. Right? We are a want now society. We want what we want yesterday. And if we can't, we used to, when I was growing up, back in the dark ages, James, they used to call us the microwave society. You can't even say that now. I mean, microwave's been around, you know. But now, you know, I don't know what you would compare to, but I know we want everything fast. Right? We want the quickest Wi-Fi signal, right? We want it. It's got to happen, right? And we have a tendency to look at life like that. And here where it becomes a problem because there are decisions, there are choices that we need to make in life. A lot of this never gets is about tough choices that we need to make. There's some tough choices that we need to make, but a lot of times what keeps us from making the tough choices that we need to make is because we are being gratified by something in the present. And then what ends up happening is I'm holding on to something that is unhealthy. It can be physically unhealthy, it can be spiritually unhealthy, but I won't let it go. And so since I won't let it go, yes, I'm being gratified in the present, but I'm hurting myself in the long run. Are you with me? And so I think this is an applicable principle for all of us to learn and to hear this morning as we look at how do we overcome that, because all of us deal with that on some level. So how do we do that? You know, maybe you got an exam coming up and you know you're supposed to study for the exam, but you're having fun right now. So you say, well, I'll get to it when I get to it, right? And so we go ahead and have fun right now, but then when we go in the room to take the exam, now our head is hurting, you know. And we looking for the answers, you know, all on the ceiling, you know, where the teacher write the answers. You know, the teacher write the answers. That's why everybody look up when they take the test. Guys, in teach school, that's what we do. So why are you looking at what is up there? You know, they looking for the answers. The answers are not up there. They're supposed to be in here, but they was having fun right now, right? If we're trying to trim down a little bit, and you look and you drive by Krispy Kreme's over at West Ashley, and that light is on. Y'all know what I'm talking about when the light come on. Now you didn't make it. You get already in your mind. You got your calorie goals down, get everything down. You ready, but then that light came on, and then you got to talk. Do I go over there and you know, or do I let it go? Right? Okay, then you eat all the Krispy Kremes, and that's where it starts, right? Because you just don't eat one. Then one become two. Then two become three, right? And you done ate almost a whole box, right? And then you know your sugar craving wake up. You know you're in trouble then, right? And now you ain't gonna stop. And then you don't want to get on the scale. Say that again. Because you be in denial. I ain't gonna get on that scale. I'm gonna eat right for the next 2 or 3 days and then get on the scale. Then it won't be so bad. So y'all ain't got that, but it's all right. But here's the point. This is something that we can all, you know, relate to. All right, so how do we overcome it? Enough talking about the problem. How do we overcome it? All right, let's look at the text. All right, let's look at the text. Hebrews, let's look at Exodus. We're talking about Moses. And the Bible said, you know, just in a summary statement, that Moses, he was a Hebrew child who was born within the Egyptian Empire. And he grew up there. There was a movie made a few years ago called The Prince of Egypt. Many people believe he may have been brother to the Pharaoh, but we don't know that for sure. But we do know he grew up in Pharaoh's house. He grew up in the court. He had all the privileges probably that a prince could have during those days, which made him different from his Hebrew brothers and sisters because he lived a very different life than they lived. The Egyptians had enslaved the Hebrews, and so Moses was not a slave. And so Moses, when he grew up, the Bible says that he refused the privileges of an Egyptian royal house, and he chose a hard life with God's people. He valued suffering in the Messiah's camp far greater than the Egyptian wealth because he was looking ahead, anticipating the payoff. So is there something that we can learn in the book of Exodus, in the story of Moses and Pharaoh, that might help us to appreciate delaying gratification? I mean, because we need them. How do we get there? All right, let's look at it like this. Hebrews, they're in Egypt for 400 years. And they have prayed to God. I don't know if you've ever had a problem and had a problem for a long time. You ever had a thorn that you want to remove, an issue, a situation, a circumstance? You prayed about it, and you look at the calendar, days are going by, weeks are going by, months are going by, now you're into years. You know what I'm talking about? Some stuff you may deal with for decades. All right? And so you're asking God for help. And so the Hebrews, they're looking for help from God. And so God finally does raise up one. He raises up Moses. He's a baby. The king has made a decree that all the babies are to be thrown in the rivers 2 years and under, male babies. All these babies, in whoosh, thrown in the Nile. All right? And so Moses' parents, though, refused to kill their child. Okay, this is the baby, they're not going to kill the baby. And so they hid the child. And Pharaoh's daughter found the baby and raised the baby as her own. As Moses is growing up in Egypt, as we said, living this privileged life, very different from his Hebrew kinfolk, his conscience begins to bother him because he knows that he's not one of them, but he's living, among them, and he's seeing their suffering, and it's bothering his conscience. And then one day he sees one of the Egyptian officers strike one of the Hebrews, and it enrages Moses so much, because I'm sure day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, going from pretending like you don't see it, being in deep denial, then seeing it, then saying, hey, I've got to do something, not knowing what to do. He lashes out against this man, and he kills him. He takes his life. And then the people, the Hebrews, find out about it. And then rather than them, I don't think they should have celebrated that he killed them, but rather than being grateful that he came to their defense, they were afraid of him too. And they didn't want to have anything to do. And he knew that if word got back to the king that he had killed him, he was gone. And so he ran away to the land of Midian. He was 40 years old when he did this. He lives in Midian for 40 years. While he's there, he meets a man named Jethro. He marries his daughter, Bird. Y'all ain't know about growing up, nickname Bird? Yeah. Her name is Zipporah, but that's what it means. It means bird. And so he marries her. All right, they have children. They have a family. He lived there until he's 80. At 80 years old, God says, Moses, I got an assignment for you. He appears to Moses in a burning bush and says, I've heard the oppression of your people. And I want to redeem them, and I'm going to use you. Okay, you're going to go into Egypt. I know that's where you were raised. I know you thought you'd never go back there again, but you're going back. And when you go back there, I want you to deliver them. And so Moses had this awesome assignment. And so he's got to go back into his home. The place that he left, that he tried to escape, ever ran away from something? The place he left, he ran away from, he didn't have anything to do with, and he needed to breathe it for a while, but then God sends him back from the very place he left. And which is a little lesson for us too, because sometimes we spend our time running from things that we need to confront, and God will give us a breather, give us a timeout for a little while, but eventually he's going to send you right back to confront the very situation you was running from. Amen. And so Moses has to go back, and he has to go and say, no army, no nothing, other than God on his side. And he has to go into the court, and basically a very simple message. The God of Hebrews said, let my people go. God tells Moses ahead of time that Pharaoh is going to resist you. He's going to resist you, so it will not be easy. But I will break him. And so Moses goes, and Pharaoh doesn't listen. So this is what God tells Moses to do. He's going to bring plagues, and this is where we're going to pick up at. And hopefully something in here will help us with delayed gratification. Also, you can also think of this as how to not eat the marshmallow. Are y'all with me? Exodus chapter 7, verse 14. God said to Moses, Pharaoh is a what? This is a group exercise now. God said to Moses, what? Pharaoh is a what? Stubborn man. So he refuses to do what? To release the people. Why? Because he's receiving some gratification in this. He's pleased. He's pleased with having the Hebrews as his slaves. They have helped build the empire. They are still continuing to build the empire. And he is receiving the gratification of being powerful by having them enslaved to him. So he does not want to let them go. And it also tells us there that in this idea of overcoming gratification, there is some stubbornness that's involved in this picture somewhere. Are y'all with me? So he refuses to release the people. Verse 15 says what? First thing in the morning, go and meet Pharaoh as he goes down to the river. At the shore of the Nile, take the staff that turned into a what? A snake, right? And then he tells them, and say to him, God, the God of Hebrews, sent me to you with this message. Release my people so that they can worship me where? In the wilderness. So far you haven't done what? You haven't listened. This is how you know that I am what? God. I am going to take this staff that I'm holding and strike this Nile River water. The water will turn to what? Blood. The fish in the Nile will do what? Die. The Nile will stink, and the Egyptians won't be able to drink the Nile. Imagine all the water in Charleston just turned into blood, and everything in it died. And when you ever smell blood before, like it's a bad smell, right? Just imagine all the water came blood, killed. So you got dead flesh, dead animal flesh, and the stench of blood everywhere. You walk out the door, and whoo, there it is. It comes into your house, you can't escape it. It is the smell of death. The Egyptians won't be able, now you can't drink. You know, that's something, then. I think that ought to, a few years ago, just recently, we supposed to have some kind of resolve in the situation in Michigan with the pollution of the water. For years, they were drinking filth, taking baths in it, and people were out here talking about third world countries, and we had it going on, not had it, have it going on in this country. They couldn't drink it. But the magicians of Egypt did the same thing with the incantation. Still Pharaoh remained, verse 22, Pharaoh remained what? Stubborn. That's all I want you to see. He wouldn't do what? Listen to them as God had what? Said. He turned on his heel and went home, never giving it a what? Second thought. So here's the plague. It comes. It's hurting his people. The consequences are there, but he does not care. Why? Because he's being gratified by what he has in the present. Chapter 8, strike 2, verse 1. God said to Moses, go to Pharaoh and tell him God's message. Release my people so they can worship me. If you refuse to release them, I'm warning you, I'll hit the whole country with what? Frogs. Now will swarm with frogs. They'll come up into your houses with frogs. Then now they'll be in your bedrooms, in your beds. The frogs going to be everywhere. Now you imagine open your eyes, there's frogs everywhere. I mean everywhere. Now some of y'all see one frog by the door. One frog. Just one. And it ain't got to be no big frog either. But you go in the house and you got frogs everywhere. Now I can guarantee usually more, I think I'm going to say probably more women are afraid of frogs than men. Or are disgusted by them. And I would think that would cause a lot of trouble in Egypt, right? Because some guys have to worry with their husband. Look, you need to go talk to that man and let those people go so we can get these frogs up out of here. But what ends up happening? All right? So the Bible tells us, verse 12 to 14, verse 10 says, making to Moses said, tomorrow it is, so you will realize there is no God like our God. The frogs will be gone. You and your houses and your servants and your people free of frogs. The only frogs be left be the ones in the Nile. Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh. Moses prayed to God about the what? Frogs he had brought into Pharaoh. God responded to Moses' prayer. The frogs did what? Died off. Houses, courtyards, fields, all free of frogs. They pounded the frogs in heaps. And the country reeked of what? Dead frogs. But when Pharaoh saw that he had some what? Breathing room, he got what? Stubborn again, and what? Wouldn't listen to Moses and Aaron just as God said. So every time he seems to get close, when the situation resolves itself, what does he do? He pulls back. Verse 16, God said to Moses, tell Aaron, take your staff and strike the dust. The dust will turn into gnats all over Egypt. He did it. Aaron grabbed his staff, struck the dust of the earth, turned it into gnats. Gnats all over the people and animals. All the dust of the earth turned into gnats, and gnats were everywhere in Egypt. The magicians tried to produce the gnats with their incantation, but this time they couldn't do it. The gnats were what? Everywhere, all over the people and animals. The magician said to Pharaoh, this is God's doing. His magician says, hold on now. Whatever we dealing with is above your pay grade. This is God's doing. But Bible says, but Pharaoh was what? Stubborn and what? Wouldn't listen, just as what? Do y'all see a pattern here? But God is good, so he gives him another chance. 4, strike 4. God said to Moses, get up early in the morning and confront Pharaoh as he goes down to the water. Tell him God's message. What's the message? Same message. God's message don't change now. It's going to be, if you got a situation and it's a message for that situation, time ain't going to change the message. Release my people so that they can do what? If you don't release my people, I'll release swarms of flies on your servants, your people in your homes. The houses of Egyptians, even the ground under their feet, will be what? Thick with flies. So he sends flies everywhere, right? He gets rid of the flies, because we can't go through all of this, but I want you to notice verse 30. Moses left Pharaoh, prayed to God, did what Moses asked. He got rid of the flies from Pharaoh and his servants and his people. There wasn't a fly left. But, y'all see this? But Pharaoh became what? Stubborn once again. And what? So, after 4 chances, we know that number 5 is going to be our lucky number here. Number 5 is our number. And Pharaoh's going to say, hey, let's do this. So the Bible says, God said to Moses, chapter 9, verse 1, go to Pharaoh, tell him, God, the God of people, says, release my people so that they can do what? Worship me. If you refuse to release them and continue to hold on to them, I'm giving you fair warning. God will come down, hauling your livestock out of the fields, horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, sheep, striking them with severe disease. God will draw a sharp line between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt. Not one animal that belongs to Israelites will die. So, you know what happened. You getting the pattern, right? The animals died. Pharaoh cried. Moses prays. God spares. But verse 27 says, God kept Pharaoh stubborn as ever. He wouldn't agree to release them. Pharaoh said unto Moses, get out of my sight. and watch your step. I don't want to ever see you, excuse me, I skipped the page, my bad. Verse 6, sorry. And the next day God did it. All the livestock of Egypt died, but not one animal of the Israelites died. There we go. Pharaoh sent men to find out what happened. There it was. None of the livestock of the Israelites had died. Not one death. But watch this. But Pharaoh did what? Stayed stubborn. And he wouldn't release the people. So you're starting to see the pattern, aren't you? Now, I'm not going to read all these, but we're going to sum them up as we go through now, because I think you're getting the pattern. So, after 5, you think he would, that is something in here that's going to help us with the marshmallow. 6 boils. I don't know if you ever had one boil. That's just, you don't even probably talk about it, right? Because you imagine having you being covered in open sores from the head. Like, remember now, so I'm old school, so we grew up with chicken pox. I don't know if that, y'all ever heard of that? I don't know. I remember, like they said, I found out a year later, it's like they got a shot for that. I'm like, really? Really? Y'all actually came up with a shot for chicken pox? There was no shot for chicken pox. You just got the chicken pox. That was like part of, you got the chicken pox, and you got the mumps, like one side of your face swell up, and your grandma put sardine oil and all that kind of stuff. Y'all remember? Yeah, see, now they got all them vaccinations and all that kind of stuff now, but we had all that. That was just part of growing up. You caught that. And you went to school, you had chicken pox all over your face, and sometimes you had that stuff when you were 9 years old, you didn't get rid of none of that stuff till you went to puberty, then you get everything clear up. But all growing up, you be chicken pox face or something like that, See, that's how we grew up, Now, but these are boils from the head to the toe. And you think boils itch? You scratch one, they're painful, pus running out. I ain't trying to gross you out, but this is what's going on. This is on the babies, on the kids, on the teenagers, on the adults, on the seniors. Everybody is covered in boils. But the Bible says that Pharaoh wouldn't listen, just as God said to Moses. So then God sent down hail, ice rocks, thunder, everything's coming down. But the Bible said in verse 34 of chapter 9, but when Pharaoh saw that the rain and hail and thunder had stopped, he kept right on sinning, stubborn as ever, both he and his servants. Pharaoh's heart turned rock hard. He refused to release the Israelites as God had ordered through Moses. So then, strike 8, God says locusts. And here's the kind of scary thing about it now, where scripture to me gets a little bit scary. There's a certain point where Pharaoh is like, his heart is real stubborn, it's getting real hard. But then, because he's refusing to give in, the Bible says that God begins to harden Pharaoh's heart as well. I'm not sure exactly what that means, in all honesty. I've read commentators, I've read theologians, and some people believe that God is actively hardening, is helping him to be more stubborn as a consequence of his own stubbornness. So it's like, he's being stubborn, he's being hard-hearted, and he won't let it go. So it's like, what I'm going to do this is, you don't want to let it go, I'm going to make it even harder for you to do the right thing. If you want it this way, then I'm going to help you to be harder. I'm going to help make your way harder for you to do what's right, since you don't want to do what's right. Some people, they believe that's a possible spin. I don't know if that is. That, to be honest with you, that really scares me. I really don't like that option. What a lot of people believe, though, it is that how God hardens a heart is by God. It's weird. Some people, once they have made up in their mind they're going to do wrong, you think they're doing good for them, but make them do right. But it gets to a point where some people are so warped in their mind that the more good you do for them, the more evil they become. And then God can harden a person's heart just by being merciful to them. Because you ever hear people say, taking advantage, taking your kindness as weakness? Some people, if you want to harden their heart, be kind to them. Weirdest thing. You ever heard the saying that says, no good deed goes unpunished? You ever did something good for somebody and the way they repaid you was by doing something evil? The human nature is a funny thing. So I don't know how much of this is God that Pharaoh continues to disrespect. But in any event, the outcome is the same. His heart is getting harder and harder and harder. So the locusts don't work either. So striking number 9, he curses everything with darkness, pitch blackness. But verse 27 says of chapter 10, but God kept Pharaoh stubborn ever. He wouldn't agree to release him. Pharaoh said to Moses, get out of my sight, watch your step. I don't want to ever see you again. If I lay eyes on you again, you're dead. Moses said, have it your way, and you won't see my face again. The last plague that God brings upon Egypt is the striking of the firstborn. Every firstborn, animal and human being that was an Egyptian died that night. I'm not here to justify, critique God, whatever else would happen. And I can only imagine the grief and the crime that must have took place that night as people went into their bedrooms, went into a kitchen, went into a bathroom, and their loved one was now deceased. And this was all because Pharaoh brought this on the people through his own stubbornness, right? Because he wanted what he wanted now. And he wasn't thinking long term about the consequences or the effects that it would have on other people. He was always thinking about himself and what he wanted now. That was the plague that broke Pharaoh. That was the plague that broke it. And so with all of that, death in the land, eventually Pharaoh did let them go, and Israel left. They left. But then Pharaoh decided he was going to pursue them. There are 3 kinds of people in this world. There are people who learn the easy way. There are people who learn the hard way. And then there are people who just never learn. And Pharaoh was one of them. And so chapter 13 tells the, or chapter 14 rather, tells the story of how the Egyptians pursued the Hebrews to the point of the Red Sea and cut them off. And they had no choice but to go through the sea. God miraculously, how did he do it? That's why it's called a miracle. He miraculously opened the sea so that they could walk through on dry ground. He made a division so that the Egyptians could not pursue. Cloud in front, a pillar of fire. It moved from the back, from the front to the back, so that the children of Israel could walk across the Red Sea and have time. There was a certain point where God removed his presence. Think of it as his mercy. He removes his presence. Because he could have kept it there the whole time and waited for everybody to get out and let's be done with it. But that's not what he did. He moved, allowed them to see the enemy within distance as far as the Egyptians are concerned, and they pursued him. They went right out trying to get them. And when the last Hebrew had stepped out in the bank, God allowed the waters to collapse and kill that entire Egyptian army. Never avoid doing something you need to do just because it is painful. Never go back to a pattern of avoiding short-term pain that is really in the path to a long-term benefit. Pain first. Payoff later. Pharaoh, he was doing good. He had what he wanted right now. And for him to release and to give up God's people was going to cause him a great deal of pain. But he did not understand that if he was willing to give up and endure that pain, that God would have had something for him much better. But it was the hardness of his heart and his stubbornness that allowed him to hold on to something that did not belong to him. Pain first, y'all say pain first, payoff later. Listen, if we avoid the pain now, the payoff will never come. And not only that, not only does the payoff never come, more pain will ensue or follow. Are you all with me? This is just a basic principle of life. You can apply it to so many areas. And I'm saying to you this morning, as we look at this principle of delayed gratification, we focus so much on that one marshmallow, not realizing that if I could wait 15, 20 minutes, God has something. He has something better. We can't do everything we want to do in life when we want to do it, how we want to do it, because we are not God. I'm not God, you not God, nobody you know is God. And so we are all subject to him. And we have to recognize that the way he leads and the way he guides us, it is in our own best interest. And any pain that we experience in the present because of decisions and choices that he would have us to make is only going to be for our benefit later. You know what we often call the 10 Commandments? They're not really, the Bible never calls them the 10 Commandments. They are commandments, but the Bible never calls them the 10 Commandments. Never calls them that. They really, and it's good because when we think about a commandment, we always think about something that is designed to hurt us, but not looking at something that is designed to protect us. There's a reason. God is not filled up with his own ego or just doesn't want Israel to have fun. There's a reason why he says don't have any other gods before me. There's a difference when people worship idols, they become degenerate in their moral behavior. It's just a relationship between the idol and how we behave. He knows that. And the behavior that comes out of that is not in our best interest, nor is it in the people that we relate to. There's a reason why he told them to remember the Sabbath day. He didn't want their lives to be all about money, 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 money. Because he knows that a society that is just based on greed is not going to look out for other people. You stomp on people, we walk on people, we don't care as long as it's legal and I made $1, who cares? That's not the kind of society that God wanted to build. There's a reason why he told them, don't bear false witness, don't commit adultery, don't steal, all of those things, those commands benefit the society. He gave them what they needed. But if we avoid pain now, the payoff will never come. And yes, more pain will always ensue. There are some relationships that we need to let go of. That's just the truth. You got friends that you should have walked away from a long time ago. Could be a significant other that you should walk away from. I'm not here to tell you what you should and you should not do, but you know, and God knows. But sometimes we stay in situations longer than we should and don't make the tough decision. And on the outside, we might look like we're suffering, but the truth is we get something out of it. There is a pleasure that comes by staying even sometimes in bad situations. Some people say, better than the devil, you know. Y'all ever heard that? You get, in other words, you get so used to, you know, that you kind of stay where you are. And you can even become comfortable in a bad situation. And sometimes it's the fear, sometimes it's not always something sinister, sometimes it's just the fear of being afraid and thinking that whatever, if I come out of this, am I going to have something better? You know, at least I know what I have where I'm at, you know. So we don't trust God. So sometimes they're whatever way you want to apply it to your life, apply it. But know that sometimes we have to experience a little pain right now so that we can get a greater payoff later. And pain.
No more labor, no more